I don't really know what to talk about. Biggest thing on my mind lately has just been fear and how it's been affecting me. Fear of a lack of acceptance, fear of failure, fear of repeated failure, fear of violence, which is understandable, but it gets painful after a while, both spiritually, mentally, and even physically. It could be anything from something major to something like somebody threatening to shoot you and kill you, or something minor, like you're afraid of, I don't know, running out of your favorite snack in the refrigerator. Not necessarily my fear, but someone within the household will get this way. And when you live with somebody, or with a group of people, or anybody, the other people's emotions around you, whether you want to believe it or not, in my opinion, the emotions of people around you most definitely affect your own. Now, you have the power to keep yourself out of it and get yourself back into your own mood or your own feelings, but that only really works when you can get up and leave. And of course, you can pray it away, but sometimes you don't fully acknowledge the source or cause of the fear. So when you pray it away, it goes away, but it comes back later on because you didn't really address the proper issue. You never really talked about it. Talking about it is very good, very healthy. And when I say talking about it, it is something in general. You replace it with a blank statement and insert whatever topic you want. Talking about it is good. Having people to listen to you is great. Those are two things I'm not entirely used to. Because of that, when I was younger, I ended up developing a anger problem, but an anger issue, problem with my temper, very short fuse on a very big bomb is an analogy I would use to describe it. Very short fuse on something like a tactical nuke. It's like a 2-inch long fuse. What good is that? But it's because when I was younger, I didn't really have the type of environment where I could say, hey, mom, dad, big brother, grandma, anybody, auntie, anybody. Let me tell you this, what's bothering me, and get some real world, realistic advice that whether it be criticism or not, just tell me something. Don't tell me knock that crap off, with other words. I'm tired, or after my drink, after dinner, did you do your homework yet? Is your project finished? Did you find a job yet? You know, not things like that. Those are all things that need to be done and addressed and talked about, yes. But I'm no parent. I don't have any children. I don't even have any girlfriends. So that's not a potential anytime soon. But I would like to think that if my kid was hurting inside, that one, I'd be able to recognize it, and two, that I would be able to help them, not just tell them to go or write a song or write a poem. It's like, yeah, I do those things. But when you tell me to do that as your way of helping me, you're not helping me. And then when you tell me to do that, and I go off and start to do that, and you had a bad day, so that little guitar lick that I've been playing for the past 30, 45 minutes gets annoying, and you come and throw my door open and tell me turn it off or play something different. I'm tired of hearing the same thing over and over. But you know, I understand, as someone who's not a musician, to hear a 7-second guitar lick or a 15-second guitar part over and over for 45 minutes, yeah, I understand. It's aggravating as all heck. It's aggravating as hell if you're not into creating music. Not a lot of people have what it takes, not to put myself above anyone in any type of way whatsoever, but the reality is not everybody has the mind with whole to sit there and play the same thing over and over, or hear the same thing over and over. But that's how songs are written. You take the part you have, you know it like the back of your hand, and you add on to it. You can't add to it if you can't continue to do it. But I understand the annoyance. But if your advice to me is to go off to your room and play some music, write a song, and then you come into my room and tell me to stop writing the song because it annoys you, the way I interpret things, the way I feel things, the way I see and the way I take things, you're telling me you're not good at this. Stop it. Get good or stop trying. That's what it felt like. In case I'm not being clear about it, I'm talking about my parents here. When I was younger in high school, it's like, yeah, rowdy kid playing loud guitar over and over. I'd probably tell him to stop playing the same thing over and over too. And I agree with you. I produce and make music on my own now. And when I'm not in the musical mindset and I sit down and try to do something and I listen to a hi-hat or a kick drum, whatever, any sound over and over and over, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. It pisses me off if I'm not in that mind. Like, turn it off, damn it. Sorry for the language. This is just the real me talking. But I also understand the annoyance, but I also understand that if telling the kid to go do that as the solution for their depression, which you just put them on medication for, why would you tell them to stop? I don't get it. Why not turn it down or go buy the kid a pair of headphones and plug it into the guitar amp and say, hey, annoy yourself. Because I wasn't that good at guitar. I'm still not. I've moved from guitar to electronic production, sample-based production. I'm trying to expand my knowledge of musical theory because something I didn't go into much detail the other night. Music is more than just my passion. Music is the thing that directly led me into learning about the Father, about God, about everything that I know up until this point. And I went through some pretty dark alleyways, musically speaking, to get to this point. But I stand by what I say when I say fight fire with fire. And I understand that before the fall, Lucifer was put in charge of music. He was put in charge of the airwaves, in charge of music, entertainment. That's his domain. That's his playground. I've come to learn that. I've come to understand that. But does the Most High say that Lucifer created this? Absolutely not. It was created by the Most High, just like everything else in existence. Therefore, it was made before the fall. It was made for good. This beautiful angel was put in charge of it, and he rebelled. And he was allowed to keep charge of it, and he still uses it to this day. Many, many, many of my friends in the past, not like to say they refuse to even think about that as an absolute understatement, but they completely fallen for the dark, sorry to sound like Star Wars, but for the dark side of music and entertainment. I did too for a while. I was into some pretty dark stuff. Okay. What is this, your eye drop? No, that's not burning me.
That's easy.
Yeah. You already got it loose for me, that's why.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. I had to help Grandma real quick. What was I talking about? They fall, my friends in my past, falling for the dark side. Sorry to sound like Star Wars. The dark side of music and entertainment. I've gone down some pretty dark stuff. But, like I said, fight fire with fire. Now, I'm going to stop there and backtrack a little bit because I'm very scatterbrained. It's just the way my brain works. I start in the middle of a topic, and then I go to the end, and then I go to the intro, and then I go to the conclusion. Not necessarily in that order either. It's like an alphabet soup of information pouring out of my brain. Music is more than a passion for me. And I mean this 100% when I say music, literally, and what's the other word opposite of literally? Figuratively and literally saved my life more than once. These weren't necessarily happy or the most godly types of music that I was listening to at the time, but it was still used by the Most High to take me here to this point. When I say it saved my life, like to the point, one of my lowest days, I came home from school. My parents weren't home. I went to go put on the radio just like I always do. I picked a random CD out of my CD cases. Back in the days of CD, I fondly think of the days in the future.
Be sure to lock the door.
I'll lock all the doors. Leave it open for me, please.
And the front door.
I'll turn everything
No,
off. Don't worry.
they will say,
Okay, I'll turn it off. Where was I? See, I don't have anyone here to jog my memory. Things happen for a reason. We get on or off a topic for a reason. Maybe we ourselves aren't ready to talk about it, or maybe people aren't ready to hear it, but I remember. So it is meant to happen. I came home from school. Parents weren't home. My dad was a police officer. It was one of my lowest days. This is before I took medicine. I never even told the therapist about this. I put on a random CD. I think I was listening to Korn at the time. And I walked into my dad's closet where I knew he kept the guns. I reached up to where I knew he had a 45, a 22, and all kinds of ammo. I never touched it, but I did reach for it. What was my reasoning? It was my lowest day, one of my lowest days. What was my overall reasoning? I was more depressed than I'd ever been at that moment in time. And I was bored. That's really all it was. I was bored. Bored out of my mind. Depressed out of my mind. Couldn't enjoy TV, couldn't enjoy video games, couldn't enjoy food, couldn't enjoy my dog, not Buddy. If I didn't introduce him already, that's Buddy. A different dog at the time, much younger. I was bored, depressed, so I decided to walk in there, and I was thinking, I'm this depressed, I'll never get out of it. I'm this bored, no one cares. I'm checking out today. Right as I was reaching up to grab, I was going for the 22 because my dad had bought the 22 to give to me at some point in the future when he felt I deserved to have it or I was ready for it, whatever his logic was. I don't know. Not an issue. But I was still being, in my mind, I was being considerate because I wasn't going to grab the 45 because that gun was connected directly to his job and he was already going to be going through enough after I did what I was going to do. I didn't want him to lose his job too, having his work gun connected to it, so I was going to grab the one that was mine. I didn't do it, obviously. Thank God. Thank you, Father, for, even though I didn't know you at the time, you still stopped me from doing that. And then another time after that, the first one was pre-doctors. Second time was post or during doctors, but again, never spoke of it to a doctor. I've spoken to it to my sister, not by birth or blood, but nonetheless. Another bad day. Music on. Oh, let me backtrack. I forgot to mention how music falls into this, because I was just so sidetracked on getting out the second one before finishing the first one. What stopped me, other than the voice of the Most High telling me, like, what are you doing? I got too many big things for you that you have to get done, that you have to do. For you to do this, like you do that, you're not coming home. You're gonna go somewhere else. So I didn't know him at the time. I didn't know it stopped me. But in my mind at the time, what stopped me was the next song that came on my speakers. I do not remember what song was playing. I do not remember. But I remember how the intro of the song came in, and I stopped after, now knowing what I know now, after what was the Most High telling me not to do this. But at the time, I stopped because the way the intro of the song hit me. And then it came on, and the words just, something about it, just the song just made me say, you know what? I want to do that. I want to figure out how to get my stuff to come off of someone's CD, to come out of a CD in a stereo in some kid's bedroom when his parents aren't home with the speakers at full volume. So I just went back to my room, turned the music off, and I fell asleep almost instantly. So that was one time. Second time, music doesn't really play a part, but I already got into it. I feel I need to get out of it. Bad day. I came home from school. I had been prescribed 2 different medications. I don't remember the name of them. My mom wants to tell me that they were placebo pills, but I refuse to believe that because every single commercial for this type of medication that you see, they talk about random twitches. If you get that, you need to go to a doctor because it's not normal and it could become permanent. You don't see me doing it now, but they've become permanent. I got them. You don't get permanent side effects from a damn sugar pill. Unless I was part of a test group. You know, Group A gets the placebo, Group B gets the real thing, and Group C is told they're part of Group A, but they're really part of Group B. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud on that one. But my big thing is music. I need to stop becoming so sidetracked. After that incident with the music, it was some dark stuff that I still go back and play it from time to time, but I have to pray and talk to Father afterwards because some of it is just, I was aware of demons and stuff, but I couldn't see how demonic some of this music was. I'm not going to name any, the bands I do remember, out of sake of somehow, you know, saying the wrong thing and finding myself like being sued over slander for some band that I used to listen to in the 90s and 2000s. I know that's not a realistic possibility. That takes me to paranoia. Maybe I can get back to that, my other train of thought. I'm on a new train right now. We all know how much paranoia can destroy your perception on reality and your life in general. And you know, drink a little bit, smoke a little bit, whatever, you're gonna get paranoid, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like paranoia of people who have become family. Like non-blood relatives who have taken the place of family over blood relatives, knowing good and well that they will never abandon you because it's already been proven that if that was the type of person they were, you would have already been abandoned a long time ago. I'm not used to that. I'm used to being abandoned by people I get close to. And that's kind of always in the back of my mind. If I don't hear from people that I'm close to for a while, if we have like a regular thing where maybe we talk on the phone or through the internet every day or every other day, and then we go through a month where we don't, like I know that the relationship, the bond hasn't weakened in any way. I know that. I'm a logical guy. But the paranoia is still there. It's still something in the back of my mind that I pray about and Father has told me is like, these people aren't going to do this to you. They would have already done this to you. This relationship for what it is, and that's what every friendship or dating, whatever, it's still a relationship. That's the term you give it. They will never do that the other people did. That's something in the back of my mind. When you're a kid in school and you spent the first half of the year with no friends in class, and the second half of the year you were allowed to sit in the main group with them and talk and be part of the conversations in the classroom. But after school, they all went off without you. In recess, they all went off without you. It's petty, yeah, you know, whatever, suck it up, grow it up, but that's an adult telling you to suck it up and grow it up. That's not a little kid. Stuff like that it hurts a little kid. It's like what did I do? Like, why don't you want to hang out? Like, why can't I just come hang out? Why can't I try to become your friend? you say that we're friends, but it doesn't really look that way to me. And I'm talking young, elementary age. So you take, and yeah, even to the point you're being told that they're your friend, and then you get invited to this guy's birthday party. You ask your mom if you could go because you're so excited. This is the first time in your life you've ever been invited to a school friend's birthday party. And I say school friend because, your mom has a friend. Her friend has a kid. It's her kid's birthday. So, of course, your mom's going to take you to her best friend's kid's birthday party. I'm not talking about that. That's almost the default. I'm talking about some random stranger that you met and then get invited to their party. As a kid, that's a big deal. Now, I honestly could not care less. In all honesty, I don't really want to go out to your party anymore now. I like to sit here at home, stay with my dog, stay with my music, stay with myself. I finally learned how to be comfortable with that, but I'm talking about a time where I wasn't. Just to get it off, get it out. That stuff, it lasts, getting invited to the birthday party of someone that you met in school. And then you get a handwritten invitation with the address, the theme of the party, what time to show up, the menu, everything. And then, when your mom takes you, you get to the guardhouse because it's in a gated community. I hate those. So private. They think they're rich. They're not rich. You're just an average poor person like the rest of us. You just found a way to get more money and throw it up front faster than the rest of us could. Anyway, you get to the guardhouse. You tell the guard, I'm here for so-and-so's birthday party. He's my friend from school. I'm so excited. And the guard now has to tell you, dude, you're on the list of do not let in. You're not really allowed. You were invited to the party, but we were told not to let you in. I said, well, can I call them and maybe there was a mistake? Sure, go ahead and call them. Well, I called the house number from the TE, the telephone entry. I only know that because I work with this stuff now. You call them from the little call box at the front of the community with the gate, with the guardhouse. They pick up. You say as a kid, hey, can I come in? Click. That's not a click to open the gate. That's a click that the phone got hung up. But again, through music, I've learned to get over those feelings of rejection and those feelings of abandonment, although they still come back. Not the same. It's just the paranoia, the fear of that stuff coming back. Sometimes it does with some people, but it doesn't hurt as much anymore. It's through the grace of the Father giving me my connection to music that I feel He's given to me. And I feel that music is more than just nice sounds to listen to, that could help you emotionally or whatever. It's a language of its own. It can be a language of love, it could be a language of peace, it could also be a language of hate and violence. It all depends on what you do with it and how you put it together. It's a language, it's very complex. It could also be something, that's what I love, that's one of the things I love. I've never thought about it like this before, but it's something that you could use to express your utmost anger and use it as a way to vent the things that are upsetting you and enraging you in the world. And it could still be something positive. Music is one of the few things that I can think of that can take a negative emotion and through proper work with it, turn that negative emotion into something positive. And I'm not talking about earning any money. That is, I am working on a path to create a career with this for myself. But that's not the reason I do it. I do it because music saved my life. And God forbid that anybody else has to come to that point, but I want to do the same thing for somebody else. I'm not a vocalist. I don't sing. I don't rap. I don't do anything with my voice. Instrumental. Instrumental only. For the time being. I'd like to believe I could learn how to sing. But even instrumental music, music itself, is one of the most beautiful things that the Most High has created to me. I don't know what else to say about it, because that alone is the best compliment I can think of. But it's a double-edged sword. It was created by the Most High, but the angel put in charge of it is the one who fell. Did he fall because of the rebellious nature of entertainment? No. I just think that's why he was put in charge of it. And then it got out of hand and he fell. Not to justify what he does in any kind of way. I'm not trying to lighten or anything about that. Please don't interpret it as that. But something else that has been bothering me, for the lack of a better way to say it, although this is not the case, just I don't have any other words to put to it. It's almost as if I've lost my connection to creating it, music. Although that's not true, because just the other day I sat down, I did a little mixing, and I tweaked something up a little bit, and I'm closer to fixing it. Musicians, writers, artists, whatever your art is, whatever you create, whatever your passion to create is, we all experience writer's block. But for me, I would say it's almost something painful. Physically, spiritually, emotionally. When I have writer's block, I can't vent. And long story short, what that translates to in that present time's thinking is I can't come up with anything. I can't make anything. I can't fix anything. I can't talk to God right now. And that's when that inner fear starts really going nuts. And I'd like to say me and the Most High have, just like he has with everybody, our own unique way of talking and communicating with each other. I don't hear a voice in my head. I feel what he said. So just as a way I could say it, just add a little comedy in there, because I do that. I'm the type of person, I add comedy into a serious situation. Not as to undermine it or insult it, but to make it easier to process. If he said, it's like somebody saying to you, I want a hot dog. But you don't hear a voice. You just feel within you that they said, I want a hot dog. Forgive me for that terrible analogy. I'll get like that. I'll back to the topic now. I'll feel like, oh my God, I have writer's block. I can't create. I don't know what to do. I feel like I've lost my connection with him. I can't. How did this happen? And I start internally panicking. And I'm getting the sense that his response is almost like, just relax. I'm right here. I'm never going anywhere. You're with me now. This isn't a loss of communication. It's writer's block. Get over it. You know, musicians don't spend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year writing songs. We're human. We eat, we sleep, we do other things than music. Writer's block happens. But what he's telling me mostly is just, don't be so hard on yourself. I'm not going anywhere. Why are you so paranoid about losing me? Are you afraid you're doing something wrong? To which my response is, you know my past. You know what I did, what I studied, what I legitimately tried very hard to devote my life to at that point in time. I know that there are things that stick around and trail you when you get into that. And that's when I sense a little bit of anger. So we've already discussed this. Are you getting into it again? No. Why are you feeling this way? There's nothing for me to be upset about if you're not doing it. There goes the bus. Sorry. If I can't hear myself, I don't talk. And that's, even though I feel that I have been forgiven for dabbling, I feel we've already talked about that. I've already made my amends. Father, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel I've paid my dues and I've gone through my punishment for this. If I'm wrong, I'll gladly take whatever part of it is left. But it's still something that weighs heavy. I can't say at the end of my life that I don't have any regrets, because that is one of my regrets. Getting involved with that mess is one of my regrets. The fact that I know as much as I do about that realm, about the way that they operate, the way that they work, and the things that they do to achieve what they want, I'm very ashamed that I know that. Something I can never unlearn, but I can refuse to dwell on it. Because I have made the mistake of telling certain details about experiences in that aspect to people before. And I have learned the hard way that the demons that attack you are spread by your stories. So Father, please cover anyone listening to this, and cover their ears, eyes, bodies, souls, spirits. In the blood of Yeshua, allow no weapon formed against us to prosper. No demon or spirit that attempts to come within 100 miles of us is allowed within us. In the name of Yeshua, I command each and every one of them to go back to wherever Yeshua commands them to go to. You're not welcome around me or my family. He's given me that strength. I started talking not knowing what I was going to talk about. And I'm looking at my recording timer and seeing I'm pushing 40 minutes right now. I just hope that lets me upload this video. You know, I feel like there's still more I'd like to say, but I don't know if right now is the time. But I've had people ask me to, yeah, I said that. I've learned through telling these people. No, they're inside somewhere. Anyways, I'd like to keep talking, but I gotta go. I got household duties to take care of. I still haven't cooked dinner. That'll give me energy tomorrow, give me strength. I go to bed every night feeling weak, and I wake up every morning feeling like I lost a fight with an angry Russian bear. I say that to laugh, but I wake up every night feeling like either like I've been beaten or like I've been laboring in the sun, which is kind of what I do for a living, but more intense than I actually do. Thank you for listening to me for this whole 40 plus minutes, assuming that Facebook allows me to upload this video. If it doesn't, I'll just try again with something shorter. Maybe the next topic on the next video, if this one doesn't go through. We'll see what happens.